Okay, my name is Martha Kovak and welcome. I'm so happy to be here. I still have tons of people coming in the room and I'm doing the clicking, so
Sorry, Martha. I'm gonna let people in for you.
great, thank you, Selena. That's great. Okay, I'm going to get started because it is 1:02 and we want to, thank everybody for coming on time. Um, Welcome, everybody. I'm so excited you're here. I have been working with students in a one-to-one capacity, hundreds of students, for 35 years. I started way back in 1990 teaching and knew right away what's going on with these five out of my 20 students. That was when I was living in Ontario. I've moved to recently to the last couple of years to Montreal, so I'm here now. And I'm really excited to be here today, and we're just going to get going. What else can I tell you about myself? You can find out about me in lots of bios and different websites and resources I'll give you later, but let's get going. Start meeting questions. Sure, let's do that. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is, let's see what we've got first. I want to let you know that I'm going to give you one promise that on Monday, you are going to leave here with at least one thing you're going to be able to try. One key that might make a big difference in the results that you're seeing in your with your resource. I understand you're all resource teachers with the students in your room. So let's look for that one thing that you're going to be able to do, and hopefully it'll be more. But let's look for that one thing we're going to be trying. Today, I'm going to be talking about Hayden. Hayden was a grade 4 student who came to me a few years ago who could not read one single word. This poor guy just looked at me and he went like this, and he shook his head, and he could not even read "a" or "the." He couldn't spell "a" or "the." He couldn't memorize. A lot of our students can at least memorize some words and get those popcorn words, and nothing. He was really, really struggling. And to this day, he's probably one of my most struggling readers that I've ever had. And so today we're going to talk about him, and we're going to talk about what we did when we met, and we're going to talk about how we got to where he is now, which is in grade 7 and reading. So the first thing I want to ask you all, and we're going to get the chat box ready. Do we have a chat box? Hopefully. Yeah. Okay. So in the chat box, I want you to tell me how many sounds are in the word boxes. Like "b" is one sound. How many words are in? Let's see the chat. Let's see what we've got. Think about it. How many? 4, 5, 6. Oh my gosh, lots of different answers. 4, 5, 4, 4, 5, 4, 5. All right, great. Great. All right. Just give you a second. Some people have to count them. More answers coming in. Good. Let's talk about that. The first sound is obviously, everyone, I can see your lips moving. B. But so that's the first sound. So we've got one. Let me write that down. Hang on. Usually I do this at a chalkboard standing up. So we've got one there. What's the next sound? Ah. So that's 2. What's the next sound? X. Did you know that in X there are 2 sounds? What are the 2 sounds in X? Let's see. Yeah, that's right. KS. So that's sound number 3 and 4. So if you didn't know, X, whenever we talk about sounds in words, we often go like this, 2 slashes, and then we put the sound in the middle. So you're not going to say KS. You're going to make the sound KS, KS. But there are 2 sounds. And then the next sound is box. What's the next sound? Put it in the chat. What does it sound like? Box. Do we say box as? I'm going to put the box as. It's a little bit of a schwa. Oh, somebody knows what they're doing. It sounds just like it. So that's the first, and it sounds like it. We call that a schwa. You can't hear it very well. And then the last sound is, what's the last sound in boxes? That's right. Even though it's an S, or a Z, it's spelled with an S. So how many sounds are in boxes, everybody? 6. So pat yourself on the back if you put 6. So let's go over the sounds again. B, A, K, S, I, Z. That's called phonology. Phono means sound. Ology, phonology. Phonology means the study of. So what's phonology? The study of sounds. And so phonology is a part of what I did with Hayden to help him understand how words work. So the other thing I did, any questions about that? It makes a difference. So the next question I have is, how do we spell all of those sounds? How did we spell B with a B? By the way, how do you get the B's and D reversals straightened out? Do you do the B hand, where you take your left hand and that's your B? This one is really helpful. B. So then when they're looking at their B hand, their left hand, that's their B hand, and it's always with them, and there is no D hand. Don't do the D hand. It's just, the D is just the other guy. Okay, so you're going to do the B hand, and they can look and see where their B hand is, and then the D is just the other one. The other option you can do is when you're making a B, when you make a B sound, what happens with your lips at the beginning? They close, right? They close. And if you kind of turn to the side, you can make a closed lip there and then B. Sometimes that works, but sometimes my students think, well, if it's a D, the lips are just on. But it's when you're walking along, I have to say, you're walking along, do, 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 do. When we're walking along in the word, what do you bonk into first? You bonk into the stick or the lips first, lips closed. And so talking about sounds and how they work in the lips, tongue, teeth, and throat was helpful for Hayden to get him where he is. So that's phonology. So how did we spell B with a B? Super easy. How did we spell A? With an O. How did we spell X? With an X. How did we spell is? Even though it sounds like, I feel like I'm on a game show. Sounds like, no, what do you call that show where you're doing like charades? It sounds like is. So there's where you put the sounds is, but you spell it ES. And that's called, well, it's part of orthography. Ortho means straight, and orthology. Graph. We have to, because it's about writing down anything with orthograph. So anything with graph means written down. Anything ortho, think about when you get your braces, where do you go, who do you go to talk to? Orthodontist, and they straighten your teeth. So you can talk about that with your students, ortho. Not that you would teach them this. This is just for your knowledge as teachers. So that would be spelling, punctuation, when we use that's all called orthography. Now, somebody give me a sentence with boxes. Everybody put a sentence in the chat with boxes. Any old sentence, just keep it short. Let's see all your sentences with boxes. I have many boxes in my car. I have so many boxes in my basement. Who doesn't? I need to move some boxes. Good. Oh, cats like boxes. Boxes are big. Boxes are heavy. I love opening boxes. Oh, if you love packing boxes, Angela, you can come to my house because I have to move soon. Fill in the boxes with books. Good. Foxes are in boxes. Oh, that's good. Okay, so now we have a sentence. And what about this one though? What does the ES mean in boxes? Put it in the chat. Somebody, Julie, I'm coming back to you, Julie. Right, it means more than one. So when I'm working with Hayden, I'm going like, I teach him to go more than one. And there are two ways that we can do more than one. It could be two or three or eight or 10 or a million or a trillion or a bazillion. And so you teach them what S means more than one, but also, where's my S? There it is. You can also spell it when you hear is at the end of the word. It also means more than one, but we don't spell it like that. We spell it like that. So S and ES mean more than one. So that is part of what we call morphology. So morphology, I'll put that down here. Morph means form. Morphology. Do you remember what ology means? Ology. I'm running out of room. What does morphology mean? Or ology? The study of. Very good. Very good, Lisa. Or Liza. Morphology means the study of form. So what we've got here is this is called the base. It's all about the base, And this is called what, everybody? What do we call the thing you attach to a base word at the end? Put it in the chat. That's right. So this is called a suffix. This, knowing that there are base words in words and there are suffixes, is called morphology. So we've got phonology, orthography, morphology. Now, who was it now? Julie somebody, I didn't catch the last name because it went by so quickly, said kangaroos. No, something about kangaroos.
A kangaroo boxes.
A kangaroo boxes. Now, do you see how that's different than all the other sentences? Thanks, Julie. See how that's different? It's different because it's what part of speech is a kangaroo boxes?
Verb.
It's a verb, it's an action, boxes. And all the other sentences were about boxes, things that I don't have a box. I should have brought a box. A box that, so that's called semantics, part of semantics. And semantics is all about the meaning. So whenever we're talking about the meaning of a word, that's just semantics. When we're talking about vocabulary, what is a box or what is boxing? We're talking about meaning. We're also talking about when the kangaroo boxes, he's like doing an action, right? He boxes, which I like to think of, I taught Hayden that we think of the ES, sometimes, most of the time it's going to be more than one. And if it's not, I just don't bring it up. But if it does come up, it means happening now. So happening now. So that's all part of how words work. And teaching him that, I mean, I wouldn't do this. This is not a lesson I gave Hayden. This is what I'm telling you about the underlying structure of what Hayden needed to understand slowly, surely, over many hours of one-to-one lessons, and you're going to be in small group lessons as well, and that's okay. I mostly, just so you know, work one-on-one with students, so you'll have to improvise with your teaching situation. And yeah, that's boxes. So there's a lot more to a word than meets the eye. And when we are teaching children to memorize words, they're missing all of those elements, and it only gets them so far. So sometimes I have students come to me and they really they seem to read so well that I think, oh, what are they even coming to me for? And then we do assessments and it doesn't take me long to figure out, oh, they are missing a lot. So what are they missing? Let's check it out. Any questions so far? All good? Hands up, thumbs up. Okay. So that is all of the different pieces in words, boxes. Now, I got a couple more fun things for you. Sleeve. Why is there an E on the end of sleeve? Anyone? You could unmute and tell me. That's right. Some people have had some training here. English, words in English never end in V. So sometimes when I'm teaching, I will say, oh, what, uh, what do we know about words in English that end in V? And they'll say, no words in English end in V. That's right. So what do we need to do? Add an E. I don't tell them. I often ask. The sessions that I have are so interactive. I'm never usually just teaching. I'm asking them to tell me back what they know. Crouched. How many things do you need to know about the word crouched to read it? If it's just sitting there and there's no, like if you're reading a book, it's a lot easier to read crouched because maybe it's a book about hide and go seek and the kids in the picture are crouching behind the chair and you can kind of coax the children into thinking what might make sense there. But is that really enough for them to figure out how to be good at strong readers? What do they need to know? They need to know that, yep, they need to know the ow sound. They need to know ch. They need to know, I mean, they don't need to, but it's a lot easier for some people than others because of their brain wiring. But yes, you need to know k. Let's see. Oh, yeah, very good. That's the one that's usually missed. Amanda, good job. So with crouched, is that going to say it's soft sound? Is the C going to say it's soft sound? Or is it going to say it's k sound, it's hard sound, k or s? Well, because there's no E, I, or Y. Did you know that? E, I, or Y. Where's my E, I, or Y? Here we go. So these are called watch out vowels. Watch out. If there's an E, I, or Y beside that C, it's going to make what sound? Everyone? I can see. Good. Thank you, Stephanie. I can see your mouse moving. I can see you participating. And same with the G. If there's a watch out vowel and it's an E, I, or Y, then it's going to make it soft sound, which is what, everyone? J. Good. All right. So you need to know that when you're reading crouched. You need to know that OU says ow. Ow. You know, you just like get them to pretend they got stung by a bee. And we call that the ow sound. Anytime I can come up with an action for them to know those sounds, it helps them. Sometimes they go like that and then they remember ow. So often the action triggers the memory of what that spelling pattern is. Crouched. Good, Allison, the t at the end. How do we explain that? Crouched. T. Sounds like t. And who doesn't know all of your, who doesn't know students who spell crouched? Okay, let's get rid of this. Let's try another one. So crouched. No. I hope you didn't need that. So crouched. Ow, ch, ch together makes ch, and often we do teach that one pretty easily. And then who doesn't spell crouched like this? Of course, most of your students do, right? And so what do you do? Make sure that you're always nodding. Yeah. What did they do right? Always tell them what they did right. That does sound like t at the end. And then we have to talk about, that's why knowing what a base word is so important. Crouch, and I know it sounds like t, but we spell it always like, do we spell it with a t? So after I've explained this many times, I would go, it sounds like t, but do we spell it like that? What do we use? Always E-D. And so they learn that there are different sounds that the ED makes. I'm not going to get into how I teach that because it's just a short little webinar or workshop, but they quickly learn about base words and suffixes, and that ED is going to sound like T, but you don't spell it like that. We spell it with E. So do you see how the morphology, the phonology, the thinking about sounds comes into play when we're talking about words? And then I always give them this base word card, and I bring that up a lot. I use a lot of cue cards. I just put magnets on the back, and you might end up doing that too. So those are the kinds of things that we talk about. So my point is with all of this is that oh wait, we didn't get through. What's the first sound? The rest is easy. Dragon, everybody. First sound to a child, dragon. Listen carefully, say it out loud. Dragon, dragon. It sounds like dr to a child, and they will say dr. So sounds are important when it comes to the structure of words. Why does goose have an E at the end? And those who know, hold off on your answer, please. Hold off, let people think. Why does goose have an E on the end? Because I know a handful of you know all of this. So it's pretty easy when you get some training and you start to learn about all the different patterns in English words. Okay, go. Put it in the chat. There we go. Cheryl's got it first. To keep the word from looking like a plural. So what I do with Hayden is I said, what would happen if that E wasn't there? And what would the S mean? What does an S mean at the end of the word? And he goes, more than one. Right. So what's the base word? Why isn't that highlighting? Why isn't that highlighting? Sorry, everybody. Where's my, oh well. So I highlight the base word and say, this looks right now like more than one goo. We don't want more than one goo, and we have a little bit of fun. Or the word moose might be more than one moo. So, and then how many sounds, last question, how many sounds are in the word quench? Now everybody's going to be counting carefully. 5. Okay, you're right. So the QU makes 2 sounds. What are they? Put it in the chat. What are the 2 sounds that keep right? It makes the k, w sound. So let's get this moved over. So quench is actually k, w for that QU. And we'll put that in little, whoops, we'll put that in little marks here. Qu, and then e, n, ch. Very good. Okay, great. So the point is that words have structure and patterns, and this structure and these patterns can be taught. And we teach them one little thing around at a time. We used to have lots of strategies like this: flippy dolphin, eagle eye, get your lips ready. And some of them are good. Stretchy the snake, that's great. So we had lots of ways, but we usually taught around the word rather than getting right inside of it. And so with Hayden, we started to get inside of the word because this wasn't working for him. Does that make sense? Have you ever, yeah, okay. So that wasn't working for him. So we got right in with, we started learning about vowels. And I used this little vowel cue card that you are all going to make right now. If you can, grab a piece of paper. It doesn't have to be a cue card, but this is where we start. Very first lesson, we start, well, wait, before that, before we even begin, I do this. I say, let's get a book that's a teacher book or a parent book or something that's really filled with words that we can't even read. It doesn't matter. A big, thick book. And I want you to find me a word that does not have one of these letters. A, E, I, O, or U. And by the way, Hayden did know his alphabet. He did know, he could name all the letters. Not everybody can. They get W and V and, you know, they get things mixed up sometimes, but he did at least have that. And so he could skim through it, and there was nothing wrong with his vision. And he didn't even have ADHD or DLD or autism or other challenges that make learning to read difficult as well. So he ran and he got a big book and he's like, oh, I found one. Oh, no, there's an A there. And then he's flipping, flipping. Oh, I found one. Nope, there's an I in there. Flip, flip, flip. Oh, I found one. Oh, there's an O in there. So he quickly learned you cannot find a word without a vowel. Now, yes, some smarty pantses sometimes they find the Y, and then I have a little discussion about the Y and what that means and why Y is sometimes a vowel. And it's only, when is Y a vowel? When is Y a vowel? Does anyone know? Let me get my chat open. Where's my chat? There it is. Yes, you could find those words. It really never happens though. Just so you know, it's never happened yet because they're really hard to find those words and they don't usually find them. But if they do, yes, a vowel, Anne-Marie, is the Y makes the Y makes is a vowel only when it's at the end of a syllable, or I just say at the beginning. I just say at the end of a word, and just so you know, let's get rid of crouched here. So then I just make a list. I don't do this right away. I'm talking many lessons down. We'll learn about fry and shy and spy and cry and how at the end of short words it makes what sound? And at the end of long words like candy and silly and funny and happy. What sound does it make at the end of longer words? Two thumb words? E. I wouldn't teach that right away. I'm just saying this is part of the many, many lessons that we have together, that they learn those things so they know when Y is a vowel. But anyway, that doesn't happen at the beginning. They just realize really quickly that that words must and always contain a vowel. And that's step one. And then they get a little bit curious. Oh, okay. And then we learn that vowels are actually the most important part of the word. And we make this vowel cue card, which I'm going to make with you now. If you want, you can join me. So we just fold the little piece of paper. Okay. So here we go. I've got a little cue card. And can you all see me? Yep. So you got a little cue card. You're going to fold it lengthwise. We were talking about vocabulary and somebody said, don't say hot dog. They can handle the word lengthwise. Let's give them vocabulary they need to succeed. So fold it lengthwise, and then you have a little card like that. When you make it, you're going to have them make their own because they want to do it their way. You'll see they're going to make their little pictures for each vowel sound. So short vowel sounds will be on this side and long vowel sounds will be on the other. So just a little help, because I've done this many times, have them write the A nice and big way over here and have the U next nice and big over there. Then have the I smack in the middle. And then we have a E and O. Now we've got a nice vowel card. Flip it over, do the same thing. So I'm going to go fast here. U, E, I, O, U. So we've got our vowel card made, and then they make little pictures. I don't know if you can see, they've turned the A into an apple. This is my exercising E. I use that because it's kind of fun to do this. Exercise, exercise, They really need that keyword, but of course, if you have a program that uses echo or whatever else, you use that. I'm just giving you an example. It's really hard to draw an echo though, just to let you know. So exercise. Okay, let's put my barbells down. And they really have fun making that action, and you can really hear the ah. What two sounds are the hardest vowel sounds to distinguish? Who knows their stuff? Two vowel sounds that are the hardest for them to distinguish. And so think about it. Ah, eh, I, Okay, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that in just a minute. So here we go. We've got our vowel card. They're making exercise here. This is just a little eye itching its dot. like scratching its head. And so itch. And by the way, you want them to say their sounds long, like ah, not just ah. Eh, not just eh. Eh, not just eh. What's this one? Ah, it's an interesting looking octopus. And just pointing up. So really simple, always keep the same keywords, and every single day we review them. And if you're wondering what these little marks are up here, the DGE, the CK, the TCH, the floss, those are little spelling patterns that you will teach one at a time that only go with short vowels, because short vowels need little helpers. They're a little bit shy and timid, and you'll see why when we learn about that. On the other side, you're just going to leave it like this, A, E, I, O, and U blank, because I don't teach the long vowels right away, but when you start to teach the magic E, you can turn it over and add that. There's my magic E. When you teach AI and AY, you can add slowly as you go. But at first, they're just going to have this, and then they're going to make their little pictures, and that's lesson 1. The point is not to go over everything in detail, but students need to know and understand vowels and even the sounds that they make. So let's do it together. Everybody's at home, so you can't hear. Actually, like, if you feel like it, unmute. I want to hear your sounds, because this is really the part where we fall down in teaching, is the sounds aren't coming out clearly from the teacher's mouths. And we have different accents that can impact our sounds. So you just got to do the best you can. Here, I'll bring myself back. Nope, that's not what I wanted to do. Here we go. So everybody, pretend you're biting into an apple. Ready? What's the sound? Julie, come on. I can tell. One more time. That's pretty good. Make sure you're not going, what does that sound like? It could be kind of like a
Schwa.
Yeah, it's kind of like a schwa, or and if you don't know what a schwa is, it's a vowel you can't hear very well. So ah, and what do you do with your jaw when you say ah? If you just go it's gonna sound like a short U sound. Be careful with that one. Let's do everybody. Ready? Get your you could do exercising elbows, or you can get your barbells out. Ready? 1, 2, 3. I'm hearing a few I'm hearing a little bit of Let's try it again. Say exercise.
Exercise.
Don't exercise. We don't exercise. I'm going out to exercise now. We don't. What do? Good. Okay, it's coming. So those things matter to our students, because they get the short E and the short I mixed up all the time. And so we really have to work on that. Even when I'm well beyond 100 lessons in, sometimes the E and the short I. So the more that we can stress it with our actions. So we've got short E, short I, octopus. Everybody's probably good with this one. Let me see the action, everybody. Nobody's doing the actions. Come on. Or you can go like octopus. Oh, thank you, Helen. So, and the last one is up. Very easy. Ready? One more time. That doesn't. You don't go. And sometimes it comes out. And you don't go upstairs. Right? Where do you go? Say upstairs. Upstairs. Up. You go up. Those things matter. I mean, when I do work and I teach teachers this, and I usually do small groups, and I make teachers go over and over and over this, because it's super helpful when you're working with kids who have dyslexia. They are the ones who struggle the most with sounds and letters and words and word structure, and a lot of it has to do with their brain wiring. Well, it's all got to do with their brain wiring. It's a different kind of brain wiring than the other 80% of us, and so these things matter. So really get your short vowels down, and short vowel sounds, your phonology, your short vowel sounds down. And we don't teach it separately. You're always going to use these letters and show them which letters connect to which sounds. So let's try it again. I'm going to point to the letter and you show me the action and make the sound. Unmute, a couple of you, many of you. Ready? 1, 2, 3. I'm still hearing a. Let's try it again. Really open your jaw and say apple. Let's go apple first. Apple. Now say the sound. Very nice. Say the next one.
Exercise.
Good. Next one. Oh, gotta do the actions. Come on, I'm watching you. You gotta at least do the action if you're not gonna say it. Remember, what did I tell you about the action?
The word.
Remember what I taught you about what I said about the action and why it's important? It's sometimes the only way they can remember what these sounds are. Because they see the eye, they see the itch, they know they go like that, and as soon as they go like that, out comes it. Because their body remembers. That's just my experience. I don't know exactly what science says that, but I know that when I get them to do an action, it really does help. And even a visual, right? Everything that you can do to help them get these vowel sounds would be helpful. And then, let's hear it, everybody. You're doing your octopi. Show me your action. I have one student who goes like this every time. And you don't want to waste time with it, but it is well worth teaching, just like I'm doing with you now. So the everybody. That's really good. And so you work on that at home. And that is a big part of what I do with that's what I did with Hayden to get him to read. So, the other thing is there are other sounds, but I kind of got to move on. I'll do one with you and you can do the rest maybe when you get the slides. Everybody make the first sound in bat. Say it.
B.
Say the sound. Very good. Now, what's going on with your lips when you say B? We already talked about this.
Your
Lips are
lips are
closed.
closed. They're together.
That's right. And do you make a puff or a stream? B. A little puff, isn't it? It's not. We don't go B. Hopefully not. It's B. B. And so, is there noise? Oh, where's your tongue? Where's your tongue? Is it up at the top or down at the bottom?
Middle.
Okay, put your tongue in the middle of your mouth and try to say B. B. Now put your tongue at the top and try to say B. Where's your tongue?
The bottom.
At the bottom. B. And now feel your throat. Take your hand and put it here. B. B. You feel a little grumble in there? B. 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 You don't want to go ba. But there's a little, my students call it a grumble. Now I want you to do all of that again. And those who know, please don't give away the answer. Please. This takes away all the fun. I'll tell you 1, 2, 3, and then you can put your answer in, but not yet. Okay, so now go like this, feel this. Do all of that. Close your lips, make a puff, put your tongue on the bottom, and don't make a grumble there. Just whisper. What letter do you get? What sound? Blow some air. What's that mean? I don't know what that bell means. Blow some air though. Remember, you got to get a puff. Just not going to make the voice here. Got to try it. Hands up if you think you know. Try it. So you're going, but oh, you're all putting it down. Okay. I was going to go 1, 2, 3, go. All right. And so these, we don't have time to go over them today, all of them today. But this matters in my teaching because when Hayden spells cup, let me draw that. So when Hayden spells cup, it often comes out cub. Because he gets that p and b. And once we teach them that the b is, somebody, you can mute now, everybody. So once they figure out that you can make b or p, right? Two different sounds, then, oh, I hope that, can you all still hear me? Oh, it got really quiet all of a sudden. Oh, I think Cindy, though, I still want you, Selena, if you could still be on with me, that's great. Just because, I don't know, you can unmute, Selena, in case I have a question or something. Okay,
I'm here.
so, okay, great. I just want somebody to be,
I'm here. If you need me, I'm here.
I just need you to be there. Okay.
I'm here.
So yeah, we need to focus on that's because those things show up in their spelling and writing and it gets mixed up, but simply just saying, oh, I hear when they're trying to write cup, I hear, oh, I see cub. I see it. No, can you make that a quiet sound? And they know it instantly. They know to go cup and they get it. And it's so empowering for them. All right, let's move on. What the next thing I do is we actually use a code pack. This is Delilah's, but I'm going to show you another code pack. But this code pack is free. You're going to have this link, and this code pack of mine has everything in it that what I'm talking about, so you can review. Because you're never going to remember what I said today. You got to review it and review it, right? And so this code pack, we learn how to print. So we start with tall sticks. We learn how to print using the lines. You can use embedded picture. Onlit has a great embedded pictures you can use there. You start at the top, straight line down. H, start at the top, straight line down. B, start at the top, straight line down, back up and circle around. F, start at the top, do a little froggy jump, straight line down. K, start at the top, straight line down. Are you getting this nice pattern for them? How nice that is for them to, it really works for my students to do the tall sticks first. And they print them, first they read them. So everybody that was unmuted before, I'm just gonna say everybody unmute, but all of you don't have to unmute. So ready, unmute and tell me that sound. Just tell me the sound. Next. Beautiful. Good. That was called reading sounds. So we just go through all the sounds that way really quickly at the beginning. Now I'm going to have you spell the sounds. I'm not going to show you the letter. I'm going to ask you what spells ul. Everybody do it in the air. Start at the top and we're going to go straight line down. What spells ul? You have to say that. You have to say the letter name. L. What, and use two fingers. Well, that's if you're doing, sometimes you can use like a surface, and I always use two fingers because I always think muscle memory, you got to squeeze those two fingers together, and it does tend to make us, we use two fingers to do our thing. So let me show you on here. Oh wait, I can show you on Delilah's, because she's still at this stage where we use a little board for her to write on so that she gets used to reaching for the line, because this is what they don't do. So L, what spells T, everyone? T. What do you call the letter that spells H? What do you call the letter that spells little froggy jump? Good. What do you call the letter that spells K? See how they're all the same movements? And then and anyway, we read sounds and spell sounds all the time. And we review. And once they're learned, they go into retirement in a nice hammock on a beach. Once they're mastered. So it's kind of fun, but everything I do is on this code pack. You'll see there are 159 slides. And we get through it all. And this is how we learn, one little step at a time. The other thing we learn is how to blend. Now, this is the most challenging part of reading for some children. Certainly for Hayden, this took a year. Maybe longer. It was so difficult for him, but he stuck with it and we got it. And there are lots of little tips and tricks we can use to get them to go got instead of got. Because I have one student right now who well, it's only been, I don't know, like a month or two, and now she's getting it. But she came to me and she was just going gut every word, blend, all, woo, way. So it was really exhausting for her. There was no reading happening. There was no fluency happening. How do we get them to blend into the vowel? I always see how I put my vowels in red. So, sometimes a color really helps. And I play this game. So we're going to read this word. But before we do that, I tell them about this little, how do you know? Because when we make the vowel card, I forgot to tell you, we only talk about the short vowels, and we make those little short vowel noises and cues, and we get used to those, but they do write the long vowels, and I tell them those just say their name, A, E, I, O, and U. So they do know about them. It's not like we're hiding them. They are there on the other side of the card. And so lots of words make just the A sound. Not all words don't make the A sound. Sometimes it makes the A sound, but how do you know? How do we know? This is how we know. I give them a little card like this, another little cue card, and I say, when the door is closed, what's the most important part of the word? Everyone? I can read lips. What's the most important part of the word? The
Vowel.
the vowel. So we point to the vowel. Is there something that comes after it? Yes, it's getting closed in, like the door is closing in that vowel. And so take your little thumb. Take your thumb, everybody. Show me. And close it. So you're closing in the vowel. Now your little fingers are nice and short. So it's going to make its short sound, ah. And that's how we know it's going to make the ah sound. Now let's open the door. Now let's open your door. Let your vowel go free. And now it's going to just say, your fingers are nice and long. It's going to make its long sound, O. And that's why that says O. So what would this say, everybody? Low. It would make its O sound. Now let's shut the door. What does it say now? Ah, and that's why that says. Do you see how I'm asking you and not telling you and making you respond? That's part of how I helped Hayden get where he is. It was constant him telling me. So I'm asking him, what's the most important part of the word? And he focuses on it. And how do you know what it says? Right? Because it's closed in. And something like 70% of words are closed syllables, like logistics. Can you think of another word with L-O-G at the beginning? It could also be locomotion, but logarithm. Great, thank you. Thanks, Casey. And then this would be low. So do I teach that once and forget about it? No, it comes up all the time. Do you even want to teach that? I teach it once, and then how I teach it is through author names. So I show them how they can read author names. So when you have a word, an author whose name, and you're reading a little book, and maybe it's a decodable text, we'll talk about that in a minute. So let's say the author's name is Diane Humphrey. Okay. Hayden can't read that. There's no way. He couldn't even read a or the. He's not reading this. But once I taught him this, the open and closed, I went like this and I covered up the rest of the word, and I split it like that, and I said, what would this say? And he knew that and we'd sort of talk about that says I, and then I'd say, okay, let's put it together. Die. Awesome. Her name is Diane. And I give him the rest. Let's try it again. I know the teacher. I don't make him do this. I know where to cut it off so that he'll get it right. So I cut it there. I cover that with my hand or whatever. And then he just has to read that. And then he reads, that has to say because there's an M there. And Awesome. Her name is Diane Humphrey. And before you know it, they can't wait to dig into the rest of the word. But this is how I do it. And so that becomes a daily practice in blending, in reading open and closed syllables, in feeling like, why are we learning all of this word stuff? It's so that you can read big words and names like Diane Humphrey and bigger words. And so it just becomes part of my daily practice. You can't just teach these things once and then forget about it, right? So I do this game. We play sometimes they call it the lottery game. So ready? I need everybody to unmute, or 3 or 4 or 10 people to unmute, and let's read this word. Ready?
Nip.
Nip.
Good. Now, my students often go nap. Okay, that's a typical thing. So I'll say, oh, what does the vowel say?
Eh.
Eh. So really get it clear, like itch, eh. And so this must say
Nip.
nip, nip. Good. And they really, really struggle with this part, blending. So they might go ip, nip. Great. But that's really a problem because they end up getting stuck. And so we want to teach what we call continuous blending. And more so, we want to teach where I cannot find my, sorry, everybody. I'm looking for my, where I can draw all over this, where I can draw. Is my tech person there?
No, but I can call them.
Nah, no big deal. Can you follow my
Yeah,
cursor?
we can see
Okay.
your cursor. We can see your cursor.
Have to manage. So ready? We're gonna go like this. Nip. That's the hard part, is getting from here to here. Don't worry about that. That comes much, much more easily. This is where you want to go. Nip, and then if it's a real word, you thump. And if it's not a real word, you don't thump. Okay? So ready? Nip. Oh, I won. And of course, you let them win once in a while, but not always. They have to learn to be good losers too. So ready? Next one. Ready? Get ready. Everyone? Read it. Oh, I have to unmute. Some of you unmute.
Jan.
Jan. And that's a real word because it could be somebody's name, but what would we need to do here? And now you're talking about capitalization. Okay, let's do it again. Ready? Say it.
Hob.
Hob. Very good. Is that a real word?
No.
No, but it could be the beginning of.
It is a real word. It's the
Hob?
top of your cooker.
A hob?
The hob is the part you cook on on your stove.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that. See, we're all learning new words every day. Or, they might come up with a longer word like hobbit. Maybe they're reading The Hobbit at home. And so you're teaching them, if they can come up with a real word out of that, then they win too. They can thump too. The point is to have fun learning how to blend. And there are many strategies that you can learn that will help you get them to the point of blending. For example, you can go to, by the way, you can go to Book Widgets. And if you do sign up for Book Widgets, that's where this comes from. You can access all of my ready-made games for free. So if you go to Book Widgets, I think if you look for my name, Martha Kovak, Kovack, don't forget it's CK, not just K or not just C, then you can get access to all of my Book Widget games. And I love this, but you can also do it just on cue cards like this. I do that all the time. This is also a great way to teach them to get used to to figure out the confusions. So lots of my students, Hayden was one of them, would get S and SH mixed up. So here hopefully he doesn't say what that word would be with SH. And here he might say sab. So then when we play Book Widgets and I put only S here and only SH here, then he gets a lot of practice. And this whole thing doesn't go on for a long time. We just spend 1 or 2 minutes. I'm not talking half an hour or even 10 minutes. We just do that for probably 2 or 3 minutes at the most. Sometimes even just, it depends on how they're liking it and how their energy is going. So it's really a good idea. So here are the top 10 tips I have for getting them to get from this letter into that letter. Sit, sha. That's the hard part. One of my favorites is you read those two and I'll give you the third one for free. So they have to go sit and I'll say, great, that word is sit. And they'll go sha and I'll say, awesome, that word is shab. And before you know it, they just can't help but say the last sound. But this is the hardest part, and there are 10 strategies. Doing it together. Hayden, like I said, it was the hardest thing in the world for him to blend, no matter what I did. And I tried everything, and I've been doing this for years. This is the only thing that worked for, oh no, that was for reading more fluently. Sometimes saying it in their head first really works, but they can't move their tongue or their lips or their mouth. They just have to do it all in their head. It's really a nice little tip. You could also choose, I'll talk about that in a minute. I'm not going to give that away. Okay, so after blending, we're going to learn one spelling pattern at a time, systematically. You're going to introduce something new, and then I would review. So I'm going to always review those short vowels with whatever words we're learning. I'm going to teach CK, and we're going to get to review all the short vowels. I'm going to teach SH, and then I'm going to review all the short vowels. It's like a spiral, right? You keep reviewing and reviewing and reviewing and adding something new and review and review and review and add something new and review and review. That's how I got him reading. And I went pretty systematically through, there is no perfect order that you teach the spelling patterns, but for sure you start with short vowels, for sure. There are lots of scopes and sequences you can look at. So we learn, let's take an example with Hayden. I taught him CK. Okay, so he knows all his short vowels. He knows SH, TH, CH. He's got some blending coming along. It's starting. And I'm going to introduce CK today. And what I do with CK is talk about, give me a word with CK in it, somebody. A nice word.
Back.
Back, okay. Back. So how do I spell it? Let's think. B, okay. Ah, okay. What's the last sound? K. They might spell it like that. And I ask them to spell it. And often it either comes like that or, of course, just the C. And I'll just say words in English with one thumb don't end in a C. So they learn to use K. So now back. I'll say, well, you know the short vowel. What sound is this, everyone? Show me. Get used to it. Ah, say it right out loud. Ah. So the ah and the eh and the it, they get a little nervous around that kicking K. Kicks. It's really kicky. And they don't like it. They get kind of nervous. So we put in that C to calm down the kicking K and protect that short vowel. And this is called the CK pattern. And so now let's write CK. Try to do it in the air, everybody. So you're writing two letters, just like we did with SH and CH. You're writing two letters, but only saying one sound. So we do that a lot, and one of the ways I do that is by getting him to fill in the blanks. This is a very good strategy to get them to print. I'm going to have to do, no, see, I'm going to have to just write it in because I can't access the tools. So he would go, oops, PI is there. So he would go with his pencil, not with computer. It's not going to work with computer. You're using a pencil or writing, and then read the word pick. So then he would go sack. Really easy. So he'd go lock. See why you use a pencil? Neck. This is not working at all, but you get the idea. Hopefully you get the idea, right? Okay, so you leave a blank and they fill in and read the word puck. Jack. Luck. See how many times I'm doing it? we're getting practice in short vowels. We're getting practice in writing the CK together. And then you want to give them contrast examples with non-examples. Are we going to put a CK here? Why no CK with milk? Somebody unmute and tell us. Milk.
The L is already protecting the I from the kicking K.
They have no problem figuring that out because they're paying attention to the story. So we don't need that because the L is already protecting the short vowel I from the K. Drink, do we need a CK? Why not CK? Same thing in drink. They will say, oh, well, the N is already there, protecting the short vowel from the kicking K. Elk, the L is already there. Do we need it for neck? Yes, we don't want that kicking K next to the A. Anyway, you do things like this, and we play games like open the box. This is called word wall. Oh, let me share the sound. This is super fun mostly this is what I do, to be honest, because it's really quick and really easy. And you can access all of my games. I have 350 games on here, and you can access them all for free when you go to word wall. And I'll show you how to do that on one of the slides, so don't worry. Ready? Julie, will you play with me? Julie Tytler?
Sure, Tyler.
All right, pick a number, and underneath one of these boxes is a boom. But don't worry, it won't scare you. It's not going to make a loud noise. It's just going to be the word boom. But if you get the word boom, you're out.
9.
9. All right, blend the word.
Rack.
Beautiful blending. I noticed that a lot of my kids will go rack, and I'll say, "Oh, let's blend," and we'll try it again. Ra, and so you're practicing blending here. Good job. Can you give me a sentence with rack?
I would, but I racked my brains and can't find one.
Oh, that's very good. Now that's an interesting example because if they use a word like racked my brains and it's a WR word, don't we spell rack WR? Then you just,
think so.
you know what? At this point, I know my students and you will know your students well enough to know it doesn't really matter at this point. We don't need to complicate things. We just say, great. But on the other hand, you do want to say, well, that's one kind of, actually, I probably don't do that. It depends. It really depends on the student. But for most students, probably I do talk about rack. If they said, first of all, they're not going to say rack to my brains because they probably don't know that. But if,
Okay, I've put my bike on a bike rack.
yeah, but if they do that, no, that was an excellent example because that will happen where they'll use meat and meat, right? It might be the wrong context, and then we just teach them. That's the kind of rack where you hang, you can put things on a rack to store them, to hang them up on a rack. And so the point is you're talking about vocabulary. Okay, next number, Julie.
11.
Blend, let's blend, ready?
Deck.
Beautiful reading. Okay, so notice I give them a little cue. Often I have my little pencil that I can draw or my finger. Deck, good. Sentence? I know that they know what a deck is, so maybe I won't do a sentence for that. I will probably save sentences for words that maybe they don't know the word, or there might be more than one meaning, something where I'm trying to build vocabulary. Although, that being said, at the beginning of our lessons together, which CK is at the very beginning of our lessons together, I might get them saying a sentence to deck because I want them to get used to making up oral sentences. Okay, next number.
2.
Let's blend. Ready?
Dock.
Oh, beautiful. Can you give me a sentence for dock?
A dock is a bit like a deck, but in the water.
Very nice. And you know what some sentences might be? My dog ate my homework. Because remember what I talked about with the sounds? Dock and g are made the same way in the lips, tongue, teeth, and throat, just like b and p. So then there's where your knowledge of phonology comes in really handy, and teaching them about noisy and quiet sounds. It's more that you're going to teach it while they're reading dog as dock than having this big, huge, long lesson that confuses them. You're going to teach it while you're reading words. Okay, pick another one.
5.
Let's blend.
Neck.
Oh, your blending is coming along so well. Well done. Next. And now your kids are
8.
getting 8. They're getting really They're like, oh my God, the boom is coming. Okay, let's blend.
Sick.
Beautiful. I don't need to make up a sentence for that. Keep going.
12.
Ooh, I see a base word. Now, this is where I really wish I would take my pencil and put a box around pack so that they could see this is a base word. Let's just read that, and then I would scratch that out. Okay, let's read that, Julie.
Act.
Okay, that's hard to blend, isn't it? Ready? Let's try it like this. Pa,
Packed. Packed.
And what happens? What does ed mean at the end of a word? Go like this.
I did it yesterday.
Yeah, it already happened or happened in the past. This is what I teach them to do. Happened in the past. And so they're learning a little bit, but you notice I only have one of those words. I'm not bombarding them with that. And what sound, it depends on the student, right? Some students can handle more than others, depending on their stage. So what sound, Julie, does the ed make at the end of packed? Packed.
T sound.
Makes the t sound, but do we spell it with a T?
Mm-mm.
Oh, sir.
Because then it wouldn't be past tense.
That's right. And then I hold this little cue card up and I say, what sound do you hear? Oh, wait. But do we spell it with a T? We spell it with?
Ed.
See how I'm getting Julie to tell me? I'm not telling Julie. I mean, I'm helping her. But Julie is very interactive in this, isn't she? She's doing a lot of the talking. She's doing the sentence making. She's telling me the rule or whatever. Or
I'm wondering if you have control of the boom because it's never coming.
I do not. Never
Okay.
do. It's in a different place every single game.
Okay.
And
7.
if you play this game 10 times in a row, it'll be in a different place. 7. All right. Ooh, another base word. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to cover that up. Julie will just kind of make it keep going here.
Ticks.
And then you would review S. What does S mean, Julie?
More than one, which is never good when it comes to ticks.
Right. Ready? Go like that. Everybody, make sure you're doing those actions. They matter. Okay. I have found. What number?
3.
3. Now, this probably I wouldn't normally add unless I've taught CH, which usually by CK. Sometimes I teach CK first, and sometimes I teach the digraphs first. But anyway, chick. Next.
4. Yes.
You're out. And then we might do another one where I get Julie to read sentences.
Jack sat on the black mat. The black rock fell in the mud.
Beautiful. So we're reading, and I'm just going to go until you get shuffle, and then you get shuffle. They get a little break. They get to take a breather. And that's that. So that is word wall, and that's what I do a lot of. I also have my own games. I'm not trying to promote them, but I actually do use them. So you can find out more about them later, but they're card games and they're fun. Any kind of game, board game, that goes, the point is to get them. I got Hayden reading lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of CK words. And then what happens is, we also have to work on fluency. So we don't want ick, tick, ack, rec, ek, deck. That's not fluency. Fluency is tick, rack, deck, stack, rock, fleck, muck, puck, lock. Fluency is hop on top, on the bus, get the pet, see the cat, and we do a little minute to win it. How many seconds does it take to do all of that? So Julie, I hate to bother you again. You're so enthusiastic.
I'm really liking the pyramid. That is awesome.
What are you liking?
The pyramid next to
yeah. Isn't that great? You can get that at OnLit, and I'm going to show you where to get all these resources. Don't you worry. I love it. The kids love it. It's a really good way to get fluency.
Yeah, because there's practice every single, every single line. There's the practice of one.
They're pretty a lot more fluent. And for this one, I put on a timer. Oh, I've got my trusty timer here. Ready? Let's see how long it takes you to read these phrases. And normally I have a check mark, but I can't access it. So I'll just go like this. Okay, ready?
Okay.
Go.
Mhm. Hop on top, on the bus, get the pet, see the cat, set it up, have a nap, win the cup, the big dog. Can I dig?
11 seconds. And now we're going to do it again and see if you can beat your score. Okay, so typically it's a minute. Okay, it's a minute. And but they often go from a minute to 30 seconds to 20 seconds to 18. So we're building fluency is the point. And there are lots of ways. There's a whole mega book of fluency out there, which has got some great ideas. I don't have it here because, wait, do I have it? Anyway, trust me, it's a great book. The Mega Book of Fluency, because they really need to get fluent with words and then phrases and then sentences, and eventually they have to read fluent passages. Now, on we go. Now we have to print words. So we're going to say the sounds as we print. So, luck. Great. Next. Ack. The secret here is having them say in their mouth what their hand is doing at the exact time. I cannot stress that enough. Let's highlight the word simultaneously. That's the most important thing there. I wonder if that works. Oh, I highlighted the whole thing. Anyway, so you're just printing. You'll see here that Hayden only did 4 words. And that's where we were at. And here he did, oh my gosh, look at that, 6 words. And you want to build up to them being able to write 8 to 10 words a lesson. Sometimes we have to do see these little thingies here. Sometimes we have to do this. It works better for my students with Hayden being a complete non-reader, like completely non-reader. We used cubes. And I would say, all right, Julie, are you still unmuted? Julie,
I'm
say
back.
a luck.
Say what?
Luck.
Luck.
I have good luck. Say the sounds.
L, a,
Now say the letter names. How do we
L,
spell L?
L, U, C, K.
Now let's write it in our notebook. And then you would write, this is Hayden's book from a long time ago. Where's my pencil? I don't have a pencil. I'll do this. L, U, C, K. What's the word?
Luck.
So there are lots of ways to do it. Preferably, you want them to be able to go luck. That's the preferable way. However, I have found my students sometimes are so, like most kids could do that, but some of my students really need that individual work there. And this is Hayden's actual book when he started. So you can see, I don't know how we even got that far. We didn't start writing right away. And then we did see just the short vowels, N and M, floss rule, SH, you see?
Do you have anything of his now?
Now, well, no, because his writing happens, I teach him online now because I moved to Montreal. And so now his writing is there. I was thinking about that, but I do have 2 videos of him talking and you'll see him. But you have to figure that out on your own. But so what we did was then we would write SH words and then write sentences that had SH words. You're not going to believe this, but it blows my mind every time that we read SH words, we play SH words with the games, word wall game. We print SH words and then they go and do their sentence and they forget the SH. So the sentences are a really big part of the process, right? The structure of a lesson to get them to the point of really knowing the SH spelling pattern. So, oh, and there's our, what are we up to? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 words. Not bad. Oh, I showed you that already. So look at what he's doing. And he wasn't doing anything for, it took a while to get there. When did we start this? Usually I have them put the date.
It did say 2023 there.
February. It doesn't take long as you're
February
very
2023.
specific with how words work. They can do it. Even a total, complete non-reader can do it.
Amazing. Martha, someone's asking which version of the Mega Book of Fluency you would recommend because there's 3 different versions.
Oy.
Just the latest, it doesn't matter.
I'll tell you what, I'm going to give you, I have a website called letsgetreadingright.com. I'm going to show you in just a second, very, very soon, 5 minutes, 3 minutes. And that is, I'm going to show you exactly where to get the links for everything that I've been talking about.
And I did put that in the chat.
Okay, great, great. So there, now we're going to print sentences, and this is a different student, and he was really struggling. See what he wrote for chuck your socks on the deck? He wrote CHECK because he hasn't got his short vowels straightened around yet. So he went, check your socks on the deck. I should not have given him I have not, it's a wild word. It doesn't follow the rules. There are ways that you can teach them those words, but I should have given him that and not allowed him to spell something that I have not taught him. Because we want 95% success in your lessons for your students. They need to feel 95% successful to keep going. So if I haven't taught him, it's not in his sentence. And if I haven't taught him, I just write the word your and give it to him. Socks, look what he wrote, SOCX. So that's where knowing about the 2 sounds of X comes in handy. The check is in my backpack. And then he knew about the C making this, and he knew about the magic E, but he could not figure out reading and writing because he hadn't been taken through a structured enough practice. Does that make sense? All right, then we read books. Woohoo! Now we're reading Silisense has great books. They're Canadian, and so we like to use those. There are all kinds of books that I use. So CK, decodable books have come a long way. And now I want to just show you that where to find those decodables. So this is my website. It's just for me, but I am allowing you to look at it. So this is where I put all of my stuff that I learn about and know. I have morphed into over the many, many years. I just think, oh, this is a great resource. Ploop. So everything is on here. And my first 50 lesson plans with Hayden is incidentally on here too, under suggested resources. So let's go there and I'll show you what's here. So if you go to suggested resources, you can click on decodables. These are texts that have the CK pattern or whatever pattern you're working on. And there's that Silisense I was talking about. This is one of my favorite series, the phonic books. These are super, I wouldn't use anything else for older struggling readers because they have a much better storyline for the older kids. These are tried, tested, true. These are super for the younger kids, but even the older kids who are just really at those beginning levels. Anyway, you got all kinds of decodables. And what was that question that was just asked?
Which version of the mega book?
Mega book for fluency. So let's go to fluency. Where's fluency? Here it is. See? Click there. Whee! And it should be here. Oh, remember those pyramids? There are the links for them. There's the mega book of fluency there. Okay, so all kinds of things here. And here, if you go to research, scroll down a little. You're gonna like this. I'm not going to do this right now, but see where it says students? Here's Hayden when he was in grade 4, and here's Hayden when he was in grade 7 a few months ago. So you can watch those videos and you can hear for yourself what he has to say. There he is. And so there are 2 videos and it's all right here. So when you get the slides, you can all look it up and listen to what he says. He's a real character. Okay. This kid had sleeve tattoos, like fake, obviously. He's only 10. And he's got big chunky rings and he's always talking about fighting. And he's got girlfriends. And he's an absolute ham, which I know that sounds kind of crazy, but he's a good heart, and he was all about sticking up for the underdog, and when he talked about, being angry, it was because somebody else was being bullied, and he didn't like that. Like he just is a stellar human being. And when we played word wall, he never just said 8. He always said 8, please. Thank you. He still struggles. Like we're still in grade 7, but he's so much more confident. It's changed his personality. It's changed him into somebody who absolutely can read anything he wants to, and he knows how to read big words. I mean, we've just touched the surface today. But I wanted you to know that this is just one of many, many students that has felt success. There's my code pack for easy reference. It's got, like I said, almost 200 slides on there. When you see these little spellbound videos, they come from Onlit, which is the Ontario place you can go that's got everything about everything you could possibly want to know about good, strong literacy teaching. And I've got 10 videos on there called Spellbound, but they're in my code pack too. So you can know how to teach the CK, the TCH, the confusions, lots of things in there. So I want you to think now about what your Monday morning move is going to be, and let's hear it in the chat.
Sorry, and also to Martha, we have a question on what type of literacy screener or diagnostic are you using?
I use Acadians now, but most of the time I have used Dibbles. But now I use Acadians.
Can
So
you say why you switched?
I wanted to try it.
Okay.
I think Dibbles is easier. I find it's a lot more cumbersome, and I find Acadians a little more for my role. I just find it more, Dibbles is just a little more, it's just easier, but I feel like Acadians would have more like a little more clout, a little more
Can I ask if you use, like, we've had trouble with Dibbles because kids in grade 1 in Quebec are just learning, just beginning to learn. So you cannot possibly do the grade 1 start of year test on them. So what's your take on that, and when does it no longer matter? Like,
Well, in grade 1, I first of all, I don't get students often in grade 1 because they don't usually get to me until they're in grade 3 or 4, sometimes grade 2. And so, but you've got all the alphabet. You're just doing in grade 1. You're just looking.
so
at
just don't do the reading passage.
Yeah. I mean, I think things are changing. Like in Ontario, the kindergarten programs are getting better and better, and they're going into grade 1 they're knowing how to read CVC word, short things, and it's coming along. We just really need to get we needed to get our foundations right, and then you don't need to do all of this in grade 4 and 5 and 6, and you know there's a lot of things that are included in creating strong readers, not the least of which is like authentic high quality literature and lots of reading and lots of vocabulary knowledge and writing instruction. Like there is a lot to learn. We need to get this grade 1 down, the foundations down much better. And then I think we'll see the Acadians much easier to use. But I just find it, when you're printing it off, this is what it looks like. So let me see if I can find it. So it kind of looks like this. And it's a lot of in between pages and a lot of questions about the comprehension. And I have 1 hour and I need to get down to making sure we're doing what we're doing. And anyway, it's kind of fun to see them moving up on the chart. We had a couple of down days, but we're back on track. It's fun. I love it. I love it. But
your website is extensive and pretty amazing. It's like a go-to drawer. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions? I got to show you my question slide because normally I bombard people with information. I hope I didn't overwhelm you today and that you got your Monday morning move. There you go. What are you curious about now? And that's it. So we'll just have 5 more minutes for questions. And let's go to if anybody can read me are there any burning questions? Or you're all just looking at the website now?
Monday, the open and shut CVC cue cards.
Oh, yeah. Oh, this? What about it?
That's for Monday. Things
Oh,
that
okay.
yeah.
Okay, great. Very fun. And then lots and lots of examples. And remember, you can use author names to show them. Because the way that I think about the author names is authors are going to come up every day because you're reading with them every day, whether it's they're decodable or whether it's authentic, high quality children's literature. You can always look at that author name and typically don't do it if you can't see the short open and close syllable. But yeah, I love the kicking K. Okay, great. Definitely going to start using the vowel card. Great. Super. You can explore resources. Super. Do you think French is harder to learn to read than English? Yes. Yes. Just because I'm an English speaker and I've been trying to learn French for 2.5 years, I can't even imagine reading. But the reason I say that genuinely is because a lot of Francophone French people have told me that it is very difficult, even for them, French speakers, to learn French and all of the French rules. But you've got a lot of French workshops for this conference, so you can ask them that question.
Martha, I think we are getting towards the end. I just wanted to take a moment because at the beginning of this session, our host wasn't able to join, but I do want to give a little bit of background, a bit of your bio. So Martha is now a fellow Quebecer, and I love it. You're a early literacy specialist, consultant with over 30 years of experience supporting our struggling readers, teachers who work with them, and you're the creator of Let's Get Reading Right and Sound Readers, which we put in the chat. And you specialize in making beginning reading instruction clear and actionable, which we saw today for all the instructors working with those kids. And I think everyone here, including myself, are rooting for Hayden. He's doing terrific. Thank you for sharing your expertise with our team today, Martha. We really appreciate your insights and a nice reminder about that multi-sensory learning, which is so critical, those actions and sounds. And so we're grateful for those practical strategies. You've inspired a lot of people today, I can tell. Thank
Oh,
you
I
very
hope
much.
so. Well, thank you. That was so
Thank
lovely.
you.
What a nice thing to say.
Thank you.
For saying all those things. You're so welcome.
So for those that are still on, we'll take a 15-minute break and then you will join your breakout sessions with your school board.
Can I stay on if people have questions?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Great idea.
I'll be here. Yeah, if people have questions,
Okay.
I have no
Great
problem.
idea.
Because I didn't leave maybe as much time as I should have for questions.
I had a burning question.
Okay.
You know how when you have, well, I have a student and he's learning CVC words, right? And we're focusing on vowel sounds, and he always mixes the beginning and the end sound of the CVC word.
Okay, so
And what would you do for that? You would say gall. He would say log and then gall, cat,
oh, yeah. Yeah.
pack.
Oh, it's just a matter of you could start with just that, not having 3. Just do 2. So ought, ob, awk, on, ob. We don't recommend reading nonsense words all the time. That was just, I use it's okay, but I have found it helpful. We want them mostly reading real words is the point. But I would just do and you just have to see what happens with dyslexia is their brain can do both. This is a pen, a red marker, whether it's this way or this way or this way or this way or this way. And it's the same with words. So we have to teach the brain to start here. And so they're going to just need to track with their finger, keep going left to right, keep blending with them and doing more blending. And you're saying even after that, he's still going gall. Yeah, it
It's
takes
a lot of components, so it's going to be hard. It's going to be, but I feel like he'll get there.
the strat, the lottery game. So I take a line and I say, ready, let's just do that. La, and then the next word is saw, the next word is paw, raw, and just doing that over and over, he'll get there. Because honestly, Hayden was a year. And I thought, this is going to be the one student I can't teach to read. But we did it.
Martha,
Okay.
somebody was wondering how to start in kindergarten. I can't find the question, but it was
Well, that's my specialty because, well, it's not my specialty in terms of the classroom, but
or what should be the focus on
I worked
kindergarten.
for the
Yes.
long time. The focus in kindergarten should be on oral language, number one, and the alphabet, number two. You can give them alphabet knowledge in a fun way. I hear with my little ear the very first sound in marker. And then you show them the M. Make an action. Whatever you do, you want that to be fun. You want them to understand alphabetical order from A to Z. There are 26 letters, but the rest, that doesn't take very long. That's just like every day, a little bit of time doing that stuff. And they need to be reading really juicy children's literature books, having conversations, learning how to talk to each other, learning how to get along, and that, they have to learn how to have conversations. It's called pragmatics, how we learn to talk to each other in social situations, manners, and every single day they should be reading and loving books and learning new words and writing, like the most important when it comes to literature. So I said all of that. And then of course play, because that's where you're going to get a lot of your oral language. But I think everybody knows that about play and how important play is. So when it comes to literacy though, you want them to learn how to print. That's the main thing. Is not just, I have kids, even Hayden probably could read all of the letters, all of the he could tell me Z, P, Q, Z, R, S. But when I said what spells T, he had no idea. So you need to do both. Have them reading and have them using lines and learning how to print and just being able to be really fast. What spells ul, L, lion, ul. What spells T, T, turtle, T. What spells H, hippo. You see my hand moving? My mouth moving? Action. You want them to know those letters really easily. They need to be automatic. You want automaticity with the alphabet and not just seeing it and saying the letters, but hearing it. And then they know what to write. That is automaticity that you want. And if you can get into blending CVC words, or even just teaching them how to blend, you are sending them off on a lifetime of, school success, and that often leads to less stress in life. I could go on. I mean, it's really it's not really hard, but they really need to understand words start at the top. No, and you have to sort of be a little bit persistent. Give them tools with lines so they learn how to print. That's really, really important. And speaking while their hand is moving. Oh. I do letters on a door, so they have big arm. You know how you have in kindergarten, you have like a painting easel? It's because their arm movements, we develop from our core out to our fingertips, that gross motor up to fine motor. So I put tape on the door with a big L, and we start there. L, lion, oh, that's it. Not all the letters, just all the tall sticks. I'm telling you, once we get the tall sticks, the rest are easy. And then you do have to sort of help them. The rest of the letters start in the middle. And they go arounders and short sticks and sliders. That's how I do it. There are many, many ways to do it. Any other questions?
Hi, I'm wondering, do you give conferences in schools, like for our teachers?
Do I do conferences, like workshops like this? Yeah, I do training. Yeah,
Yes.
I'm teaching at Vanguard School for the last 3 years, doing the grade 4, 5, 6 teachers training with them. You know what that is?
But if you,
Montreal, it's like this huge school with all
Yeah.
kids with disabilities.
but if we were to have you in for like one of our PD sessions, is that a possibility?
Oh, sure.
Okay, good to know because everything today was amazing.
Aw, that's great.
Thank you so much.
Good. I'm glad. My goal was to not overwhelm and to just inspire you to want to learn more. So that's great.